And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. Also, as well, Inside Sports, Fantasy Football. It's Gerald Glassford. Thank you so much for joining us. Truly appreciate it. Also, as well, Joe Soro. He said he'll be back on the show tomorrow. That will be for another show that we've got right here for you. And he is Mr. Simblance, Simblance with Y.com. And also, as well, of course, go ahead and check out what he's doing today at a Lakers ball as Oxide T47 right there for you. Also, as well, of course, our good friends, Laker Tom and Jamie Sweet. Jamie Sweet said he would be by in a little bit. He is, of course, one of the guys behind Lakerholics.com. Also, as well, John Costa, Clutch Talk, and Lakers Corner. And Frank, yes, they did make a move. We will talk about that here in a second. Also, as well, of course, go ahead and share the love for Empire Jeff TV, Lakers in 5, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, Yo, also as well, of course, all the great things that are going on in the world of Lakers and the NBA. Please go ahead and support Stone Hansen at report_court. Of course, Alfred Esmond, the Legend 350. All those great guys, go ahead and support the work that they do. Plus, also go ahead and give us some love by liking and subscribing today to get the latest notifications on when we go live with the latest Lakers Fast Break podcast. So I said I would be back. I said I would be back to recap a somewhat busy day one of the NBA free agency. Not as busy as I would like to see it, especially if you're a Lakers fan out there. But yeah, definitely we'll go ahead and chit-chat a little bit. Darth, cool bro. Gerald, I think it was a bad idea to bench watch all 5 now. Yes, it was. I'll just say that. It was a bad idea indeed. But I will say that, yeah, it was for the Lakers, it was pretty quiet, but it was still active around the association. We'll talk about that here. It is Gerald Glassford wrapping up free agency day one on some of the movers and shakers that's out there and who is still left on the table as far as free agents still out there waiting to be signed and waiting to commit. What will happen with LeBron? Will he take that discount? He's been calling on the phone to his good friend, Mr. Klay Thompson, saying, come to LA. Will he come to LA? Will the Lakers try to go ahead and maybe get a center and get some help as well on the front line? We'll talk about that all on today's episode right here as we wrap up day one of NBA free agency right here at the Lakers Fast Break podcast. Well, the latest move that was talked about and signed and committed was something that I think Frank might have been fearing a little bit, in that Derrick Jones Jr. Decided to go ahead to greener pastures, coming off a resurgent year after being paid on the minimum and looking like to see if he wanted to return his career back around. And he did so, had a very good season, helped the Dallas Mavericks get to the NBA Finals, and for that he got appreciated by the Los Angeles Clippers for 3 years, $30 million. So he will be playing in the toilet bowl along with Kevin Porter Jr. and also as well, of course, James Harden, who all signed agreements today with the Los Angeles Clippers. They're going to be headed for the toilet bowl down there in Inglewood. So let's see what he does there now that he's being paid a little bit larger salary than what he was doing on the minimum last year in Dallas. So I know Frank might be concerned about that. Frank says, I don't think DJJ went to greener pasture. Well, he went to greener pasture, if you know what I mean, Frank. So he went to a little bit more monetarily greener pasture. How about that? Is Joe coming on? Joe didn't say for sure he's coming on today. He said he was looking at doing tomorrow as a definite, but we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. Brendan Iverson says could have had Vals and Bronny. Yes, absolutely. But Frank, true, yes. The money. It's all about the Benjamins at this point in time as the NBA free agency heads into day two with still some big names undecided. But the Dallas Mavericks kind of made up for the Derrick Jones Jr. loss with Najee Marshall from New Orleans signing a 3-year, $27 million deal with the Dallas Mavericks. So basically, or essentially, they, traded out a $30 million player for the $27 million one, as far as I have on a 3-year basis for each, $9 to $10 million a year. So hopefully you'll get the same kind of production from Najee Marshall that you got from DJJ, but we'll see. Mason Plumlee has left the Los Angeles Clippers and now is heading over to Phoenix, who signed a 1-year deal today. Jamal said the Lakers could look at Miles Bridges. They could. He's still out there. Scored 20 points a game for Charlotte. You never know what that could happen. EJP, great to see you. Happy to see the Nuggets take a hit. Absolutely. They have not been able to make up for what they've lost in free agency so far. And here today to discuss what went on in free agency is a good man indeed. He is 1/3 of the Lakerholics, 1/4 if you include El Rob as well. But El Rob kind of stays away from Lakerholics.com. He chooses to argue with you guys and try to provide some clarity on Saturdays with your Lakerholic Spotlight. It is Jamie Sweet. Jamie, great to have you here, my friend. See you playing around with the old router there, trying to get the internet all going up, my friend. But it is NBA free agency. I know that the Lakers, let's talk about that first and foremost. I know that the only major signing of the day for the Lakers was Max Christie for 4 years, $32 million. Whoop-dee freaking do from some of you. Some of you like it. Some of you like the potential. I think right now, this is not the roster that we want to have because we've got way too many guards on the team right now. Not as many. No, we've got literally no spaces on the roster unless we make moves. And I have a feeling if there's a Klay Thompson deal that goes down, a sign and trade perhaps, we'll do just that.
I don't know. I think we'll just waive Cam Reddish or Wood or Hayes. I think we'll just clear a spot, take the cap hit, because it won't be that much. Vet minimum deals count not for against the full salary cap of their amount. I can't remember what the exact percentage is, and I can't remember if it changed in the new CBA. So yeah, I hate to say that this is what I predicted was going to happen, but here we are. I know it's not exciting. I know it's not. It's not magic.
Well, what does this do for the Lakers? It's not a. If it doesn't pan itself out, you can trade him as early as January 15, 2025. It's not that big. If he doesn't, if it's like last year, if it's a repeat of last year, you can actually get rid of the contract rather easily. It's not that bad of a deal. So, but you are banking on the potential he supposedly has. He's still very young and still has a chance under a new coaching staff to maybe get his better footing under him.
No, listen, I didn't hate this signing at all, actually. I don't know. So this is what I said the other day. I was roundly chastised for thinking such blasphemy.
Oh, we're roundly chastised for everything around here. They only let Joe because he curses up a storm.
Yeah, well, that's fine. I'm not going to curse up a storm. So let's be real here. So Max Christie last season played in 67 games, started 7, played 14 minutes a game, up from 12.5 in his rookie year. Took 3.6 field goals, made 1.5 for 42.7%. Took 1.8 3-pointers, made 0.6, good for 35.6%. Was 49.6% on 2-pointers. Free throws was 87% his rookie year when I think he took like 8 and took considerably more in 2023-24 for 78%. So he's roughly, we'll call him an 80% free throw shooter. So you're getting 4 points a game, 2 rebounds, maybe an assist, and a half a stock for $8 million. So that's not what you're paying for, right? You're paying for growth potential. Well, that's Bronny James stats, right? That's Bronny James, right? Bronny James did that in at USC. Basically, that stat line is the Bronny James stat line from USC, right? So that's going to make everybody feel even better when I mention stuff like that. The reason I'm saying this is because the Lakers are one of 30 teams that have entered into a new reality known as the actual CBA that we saw get signed and ratified, or however you put it forth, 18 months ago. And these draconic penalties force you, I think, to build internally more than fans want to see. And it's going to take fans a season or 3 to sort of work this into their heads that this isn't even like the CBA prior, right? Where, there was sort of a hard cap, but not bad. You could just choose to overspend it. You would just get penalized, more tax dollars. It's a reference point, Joe. It's just a reference, just a point.
Listen to the context. Ears, Joe. Use the ears.
Point of reference. Okay. All I'm saying is that the Lakers, like a lot of teams you saw, shedding salary or choosing not to bring back players who were part of their culture, like Klay Thompson. Hartenstein might not be a Knick, and everybody knows how high the Knicks are across the board on Hartenstein. If they can't move Robinson and shed salary somehow, they can't sign. They just can't sign Isaiah Hartenstein. There's no way they can do it. So this is new territory for the NBA. It has never been like this before. It has never been this punitive. And I think everybody kind of just underappreciated that. I don't think they fully considered the implications of what this summer meant to the NBA. And GMs don't have that luxury. They don't have the luxury of being like, we'll find a workaround. I'll just fire up the whole trade machine, and it's just going to be great. Look, the money works. It does not work. It does not work that way anymore. So the penalties for not building internally. And then on top of that, if you do build internally and somebody gets really good really fast and gets a raise, or is deserving of a raise, you might not be able to afford that. So it's going to be interesting to see how this works. You could almost make the argument that the NBA is looking to even decrease the number of 2 superstar teams with a move like this. When you see it in full effect, because I didn't know what today would look like. I didn't think there would be as much movement and contracts dropping the way we've seen in free agency's past, where the first day of free agency is just like, boom, this guy got money, boom, this guy got money, boom, this guy got money, boom, this guy. It's not like that. Everybody's got to be like, ooh, okay.
It was kind of the action moves slow. I mean, you were there. You were talking.
I was making.
Yes, I think if I remember correctly.
These are classics. What are you talking? Classic jokes.
Yes.
Gonna live on for forever.
Yes. I'll just say this, my friend. Again, the Lakers, not much action. You've heard the rumors now that LeBron supposedly has contacted Klay Thompson, talking about, hey, buddy, come on down here. Southern California, played near your dad. Dad will be able to call your games. That's all well and good. That's great. But that's a 35-year-old player coming off of a bad knee, a bad Achilles, 0 for 10 in his last game.
Yeah.
I mean, as Alan said, there's one side of it. People are great and happy because it's a name value. Klay Thompson has still a great name in the NBA and can still hit 40% from 3. But then there's also the opposite side that says, my God, if we get any older, we're looking like the 22 Lakers once again.
Oh, definitely. No, I neither of Brook Lopez. No, neither of Brook Lopez. The 2 names floating around right now.
The Laker Tom has floated them around.
Well, but no, not just Laker Tom. I mean, they're kind of the 2 last big names left on the board, right? And they're both guys who probably think.
Well, they would have to trade for Lopez.
Oh, that's right. He signed an extension. You're right. No, I don't see us even getting Lopez then. Yeah, I don't know what then Tom's just being crazy. I didn't realize that. You're right. Bring Michael Thompson out of retirement. I mean, the name doesn't. It's the Lakers. They don't need name recognition. If it was Charlotte Hornets and you were like, it's enough to be the Lakers. If anybody who's in the Laker front office, it's like, oh gosh, you guys, we need another name. Is just I don't even know what to call that person. Like, do your job better, please. No, I wouldn't have given CP3.
Well, we'll
MEs.
get into that in the detail. We'll go ahead
Okay.
and start running them
Sorry.
down.
Sometimes the chat just influences
Yeah,
my
the
words.
chat is just their chat is just throwing stuff out there.
They're throwing. It's like pasta at a wall.
Derrick Jones Jr. signed, as I was talking about with Frank, left his team, the Dallas Mavericks, moved on over to the Toilet Bowl and the Clippers, who also signed today $35 million a year for James Harden at 35. Man, is this like $1 million per year? You know, is that the way they're structuring out for $1 million for every year he's been alive? I don't know. That's
wonder Paul.
Crazy.
No wonder Paul George left, right? Like, how would you let you take a pay cut? Why are you paying James Harden $35 million? I've been here longer. I've done more. I've sacrificed for this team. You just gave this guy. I mean, I get it. He took a pay cut, but deal with me first. Like, tell him, listen, we're going to deal with Paul first, then we'll get you done. But this is what I'm saying, right? Everybody who could make a move made a move, because this is like musical chairs. It has to happen fast, because if you don't make that move and you have money and there's inferior players, what do you do?
And Bloodhound, I get it. I understand, as I talked about, and I talked about this, Jamie. You know, you got to have nice billboards with familiar names on the 110, the 105, and the 405 right near Inglewood in order to make sure people go ahead and frequent the Toilet Bowl. But I understand also as well that, man, this is not Clippers. Even with Derrick Jones Jr., this is not close to being a team that can compete for the Western Conference titles.
Always, Roy. Always.
Yeah.
Always.
No doubt about that. No doubt about that.
Yeah, that's always.
Yeah. I told the story here on the show that we did a bachelor party at a local one here in town at 1998. And then we dropped like, I think $2 or $3 back then. I'm thinking with inflation, that'd probably be like 10 grand now. That's
easy.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. Yeah.
That's one of the reasons. One of the reasons I choose not to fraternize.
Exactly. Way too rich for my blood as well. But Najee Marshall.
Also,
go ahead.
No. Also, I'm married.
Yeah. Well, that
I don't. There's no
probably comes from yes. Although I love the billboards here in town for the one strip club that says that they've got this huge billboard that says destroying marriages since 2012.
Oh,
so,
classy,
yes,
classy. I thought you were going to say that they were offering free Wi-Fi. I was like, oh,
no. I don't know about that either, but that's.
I'm telling you, but it's $5.
You guys visiting Las Vegas can tell me that more here in the coming weeks.
Let us know. Let us if you've been to Vegas lately. Put it in the chat. Is the Wi-Fi free in strip clubs, or they make you pay for it?
Yeah, let us know. Let us know in the chat. Again, Najee Marshall, 3 years, $27 million with the Dallas Mavericks.
That's the one that pisses me off.
Najee Marshall, good solid forward coming out of the New Orleans Hornets rotation there.
And $9 million a year is doable.
Player. Tell us why that bothers you so much.
Because he's so this is my whole thing. My whole thing right now, and this is why I'm not pissed about Max Christie. We saw the AARP Lakers, right? Thank you, Intel. We saw the AARP Lakers, and that team did not make the playoffs. So my fear, I know, Alan. My fear was that that's not the same though. And that's not exactly, well, I'll get into that in just a second. But my fear was that we were going to go older because LeBron said, oh, I'd love to play with a veteran. That doesn't necessarily mean somebody 35 and older, right? Like veterans can be 27, 28, dare I say 26. If they, depending on when they came into the league. And so I had this fear that we were going to go for Chris Paul, Andre Drummond, Klay Thompson. It was going to be like, look at all these old guys. They're veterans. Hey, LeBron, you're happy now? And your kid. Hey. So I don't look at this as being terrible because you need to get younger right now. Nobody's going to pay or trade for older talent. So if you want to even have a hope of a trade deadline deal next season, it has to be young players, and it has to be young players on reasonable contracts like Max Christie's, or there will be no trades. We saw we saw the Clippers. I'm sorry, we saw the Warriors. Or the rumor is, I shouldn't say we know, but the rumor is that the Warriors turned down a Zach LaVine for Wiggins and CP3. They had a way out from cutting CP3. They could have gotten something and replaced. And LaVine's contract is so toxic because he underperforms it to such a high degree that they said that the rumor is they said no. Now I don't know any actual information. I'm just saying. Sorry, now I see the strip club jokes coming out, and it's my own fault.
You know it.
Yeah, it's
our
my
audience.
nobody. Yeah, it's all good. Anyway, so I was happy to see us get younger. Now, we didn't get Christie instead of Williams because we could negotiate with Christie in a way that we can't negotiate with Najee Williams because he's our free agent. We can go into apron tax territory to keep Christie. We don't have cap space right now, but we could have freed up cap space to do so.
Well, again, we're still a seventh place in the Western Conference team.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't really
100%.
done much to put us in a better light or improved our standings right now. If you ask me, I mean, we are running it back as of right now. Now, obviously, we're going to make some tweaks and changes. You know, if we get Klay Thompson in here, we have to do a sign and trade because we have 15 players on the roster now. So we have to send some people out right now or waive some people.
Yes, you can just you can just cut Cam Reddish. I mean, Cam Reddish is just making the vet minimum.
Well, you're going to have to eat his contract though, and it depends how far.
But it's not. It's a vet minimum. So yeah, but the vet minimum contract does not count to the full degree against the salary cap. It'll be a bigger hit to Genie than it will be to the salary cap. That's just how it works. I don't know the exact percentages. We can spend some time and look it up on the internet.
Okay, all I'm saying is when you have a seventh place team in the Western Conference and you've added Dalton Connect, right? As of now,
and you haven't just
you need more. You absolutely need a lot more.
Agreed, but you're also adding, in theory, a healthier year from Gabe Vincent and a healthier year from Vando. And I'm not saying that that's enough to like vault you into the top four, but I think that's enough to like. And let's remember, let's not like pretend there was some vast gap between.
Well, Alan's saying addition by subtraction when it comes to Darvin Ham.
I mean, I don't know if that's worth like a great deal of wins. I think it's more of a stylistic and vibe.
It all depends, Alan. Your comments you see guys say about Ham, it all depends on how well JJ does when he gets out there and coaches. We could be praising let's just say this. We could be praising in 6 months JJ for his acumen, for how he's picked up everything on the floor coaching, or we could be back saying he hates JJ in wins or losses. It could go either way because we don't know. We don't know his style of coaching and how well he'll do. He could be making the same mistakes that Ham makes, or he could learn from them and do better. So I'm hopeful it's the latter and not the
or make none of the same mistakes Ham makes and just be very quick to react. Very on top of like, oh, this isn't working this way. Let's change that.
I'm hoping that that's the case. I certainly
do too.
So we'll see. And that could be an interest. That could be a difference of 4-5 games right there. But you're also banking on LeBron and AD being healthy, which is why you still need to build a deeper, better roster around them. And right now you haven't. You essentially are standing pat as of this point. Now, again, we don't know what's going to take place here over the next couple of days. You could get an addition here or two. I know, again, we've talked about Klay Thompson. There's been rumors that the Lakers are trying to pursue a trade for Brook Lopez. Maybe other players may be in play. There's still, I mean, Isaiah Hartenstein is still out there to beef us along the front line, although most likely he'll probably be resigned by New York. Philadelphia is in the midst of still trying to spend its money. Orlando did a good job today, I think, with the signing of KCP for 3 years. I think around $22 million a year. I think that was a little more for an overpay, but the guy coming in to help your offense, who could still guard the perimeter, who has championship acumen.
That's what I was
for a young team.
Yeah,
I mean that means everything to a young team like that. That may take them to the next level. These are all good. You know, some of these are good signings, and then you have some other signings that took place. I know the Jonas Valanciunas one hurt a lot of people out there thinking he would go to the Lakers. He went on a 3-year, $30 million deal.
We weren't going to offer him that.
Yeah, if you're not going to offer him that, then by all means get where you can. Now with
Yep.
Washington, I don't think he'll stay the entire term. I think that's just because hey, Washington went to him and say we'll give you 3 for 30, but there's a very good likelihood we'll probably use you in a trade somewhere down the line. He probably said, "Yeah, I'm going for the money. It's the last big contract that I'll probably ever get." So I can't say I blame him for doing that.
Yeah,
But again, there's the Chris Paul deal kind of irks me a little bit because $11 million for 1 year. We were talking a minimum deal for him. It seems
I
like
was
he's
no,
still
no, no,
trying
no, 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 no. I never. I go back and listen to our shows. I have been vocal and constant about this.
saying no,
No, he's not
not
going
even on the
to.
minimum.
No, he's not going to sign a vet minimum deal. He's never. He will retire.
Okay.
This is the lowest figure he would sign for the full
Okay.
MLE
For a team that
because
has no
because
shot right now
doesn't matter.
of
No, no,
getting
no,
into the
no,
playoffs.
because he was the president of the players union when they fought for all those old guys can still make money in the league rules that they put in. This he cannot. He can't almost sign for the vet minimum simply because of the optics. Do you know what I mean? Like it would be similar to like when Genie took the PP loans, right, during COVID, right? Like you can't fight for all these things and be like, oh, but I don't really want those. It's just not going to work. And it's hard, I think, for people to understand that because maybe they've never been in a union. But like if the guy who fights for all these things and like you make concessions for and you wait for and like you go out on a limb for, and then they just sort of throw it all away, it never turns out well for your legacy and for your optics. And so that's all I'm going to say about that is that I never, ever for one, I mean, Tom was putting it on the blog. Oh, Chris Paul is going to give me years. I'd take him for the vet minimum. Yeah, so would every team in the league, but he's not going to sign for the vet minimum because he can't and he won't. He will retire.
And
Same
he
with
didn't.
LeBron. LeBron will never take the veteran minimum. He will retire. He will retire before he plays for the vet minimum. These guys have pride we don't understand. We don't have the kind of pride in them.
Well, I want to get to Intel Wild's question in the super chat here. He said, "Can we get Klay and Brook Lopez here? Is that enough?" The first part of your question, Intel, thank you again for the super chat. Truly appreciate it. Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break along with Jamie Sweet from Lakerholics.com. It is me, Gerald Glassford. Truly appreciate you listening. Intel Wild is asking in the super chat, which you can do always when you're right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Can we get Klay and Brook Lopez here? The question is that obviously, if Klay is interested, LeBron said he will sign for less money to get him or a DeMar DeRozan reportedly here. One of those two guys. That's is what it is. Brook Lopez. When it comes to Brook Lopez, you can make a trade for him. I believe he is gettable. I don't think that's enough, Jamie, because again, it's like you talk about when you get older, it really is going to be difficult for this team to get better in the playoffs as this team gets older.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, LeBron can't do even what he did last season for forever. I think that you're going to see him drive to the hole less and less and less, especially in the regular season. I think he was going to become quite earthbound on defense. And that's just something that the coach is going to have to scheme around.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we have a rookie
Intel Wild adds on to that about the Suns today reaching agreement, like I talked about earlier, with Mason Plumlee from the Clippers. He'll be signing the 10-year veterans minimum worth about $3.3 million. We couldn't pay him that unless we're getting Brook back. I get it, Intel. I mean, it's something where we have a serious problem on the front line that's not being addressed. Again, we gave up more offensive rebounds than almost anybody in the league. We were next to last in defensive rebounding efficiency. People were getting offensive rebounds on us right and left. AD needs help along that front line because we talked about LeBron, Ford, talked about his defensive effort from time to time on it. I mean, everybody talks about the offensive efficiency. We sometimes the detractors, myself, sometimes I've said it, Joe, Darren, in the chat, most notably about his defensive effort. And when you don't have the defensive effort, rebounding does become an issue. So I agree. with Christian Wood and Jackson Hayes, who absolutely scare nobody out there or put the fear in God in nobody out there with the way they play defense, we do need an upgrade along the front line. And I haven't seen yet the Lakers addressing those needs, Jamie.
No, I mean, listen, there's not a lot of so. I mean, I'm going to keep going back to this because it's. I think it's not. I don't think we fully embrace this new CBA because there's just not a lot of moves the Lakers can make. We cannot sign literally anyone in free agency except for like a vet minimum deal like Plumlee, but we don't have a roster spot.
Well, they have up to the 12.8.
But we don't have a roster spot if that's not happening for Mason Plumlee. Let's just be real about that. LeBron's not going to take any kind of pay cut for Mason Plumlee. That's just not going to.
So happen. You're saying that the Lakers have put themselves into a hole in regards to the amount of players that they have.
Because they have two hills to climb. 15 rosters spots are basically taken up, right? I think that's actually fact at this point.
15 with Max Christie signing today.
Well, not until LeBron
and Cam Reddish, Jackson Hayes, Christian Wood, all those guys picking up their options.
Yep.
All those guys put you at 15 on the roster. So you have to find ways to create space on the roster by, again, if Klay Thompson has been talked about, that would most likely come down to a sign and trade where the Lakers would try to get off something or someone or someone's in order to try and get something back or give something back to Golden State, because Golden State reportedly is supposed to be amenable to working something out when it comes to Klay Thompson.
I would not give anybody to Golden State. I don't want to make Golden State better.
Well, giving them Max Lewis and JHS wouldn't make them better now, would it?
No, but you're not going to get
younger.
You're not going to get Klay Thompson for Max Lewis and JHS.
Well, I'm just saying they would do some type of sign and trade. I don't know how the logistics of it would work out, but again, according to reports, in order for Klay to get more money and the Lakers to free up the spots, they would go ahead and work with Golden State on the sign and trade.
I would have to look at how that works in the new CBA. That's one of the areas that I'm still gray on, is how do sign and trades work now, because how it used to work was that you had to send out 100 to 100 within 125%. And I know that that's still true to a degree, depending on what apron you're under. And I think we're under the apron where you can still do that.
So you're saying, Alan, it would take Rui or D'Lo to go ahead and
yes, it would be like Rui, JHS, and Max Lewis, because you got to get
the irony of sending D'Lo back to Golden State would just be so funny.
It would have to be Rui, and I don't want to give Rui to Golden State. I don't want Steve Kerr to get no. This is what I mean. Like, the Lakers have. People need to really check in with reality. The Lakers don't have a lot of moves to make. They never did. They never did unless they were going to cast off Reeves. Reeves is the only player people really want. Nobody wants Rui Hachimura. Not really. Nobody wants D'Lo, especially come playoff time. We don't even want D'Lo come playoff time. Everybody in that chat has dumped on D'Lo during playoff time because he is inconsistent. I've dumped on D'Lo. This is where we're at. Like, they had to run it back. Nobody likes to hear that because it's not sexy and imaginative and fun, but they had to run it back. This is why Tom got all fired up at me on Saturday about, oh, you don't like anything. You have no hope. It's not that I don't have hope. It's that I know what they can do. And it's not like some dream scenario. You don't just get to imagine reality. The Lakers would have had to have traded Reeves to get Murray. They valued Reeves more than Murray, or at least equally, and not enough to send out Murray. I'm sorry, not enough to send out Reeves and draft picks. They didn't value Murray that much. That's the truth.
Let me ask you this. Paul George is still one of the key guys that's out there and available. It's so funny because there had to actually be an official statement by the Los Angeles Clippers stating that he would no longer return to the Clippers. I thought that was weird. I thought that was, why do you say, just let Shams or Woj put it in a tweet and then we all move on.
Because it's clear
that those sides, just like Klay Thompson, the Warriors, are not anywhere close to a deal, so it's time for them to move on. Your thoughts on Paul George possibly becoming a 76er or going somewhere else?
I'm not too surprised. I thought that when they had announced Harden's deal first, that
Mhm.
sort of signaled the end of the Paul George era in Clipperland. Because why would you not have dealt with Paul George first, who's been there longer and helped you get to the Western Conference Finals where you've never been before, and held your team afloat while Kawhi Leonard was perpetually injured, and like actually somehow found a way to work with Russell Westbrook and make that work. Like, yeah, let's go with James Harden, the mercenary. So I can understand why Paul George kind of got miffed, shall we say, about that, because that makes sense to me. Like, these people have pride. Like, everybody treats NBA players on their teams like it's NBA 2K. Like, oh, I'll just trade this guy for that guy and this guy for that guy. It's gonna be great. And they just sort of seem to ignore or gloss over the idea that this dude puts in like 10 hours a day on a game. And I don't mean like, like, these people are mechanical, methodical, and driven to be good at basketball in a way that few people are driven to be good at anything. And so
I will
when
say though,
they say it's about a business, it's not just about like
yeah,
that money is made. It's that like this person is a business. Paul George is a business unto himself. He is a business unto himself that he has worked hard to build up the brand, that he has spent time on making himself available to play basketball,
yeah,
putting in the time to get better at everything he's gotten better at. And to just sort of like be like, yeah, whatever, James Harden just, I can understand him being like, you know what? Then I'm cool. I'm not going to take a pay cut. I'm going to go out and I'm going to make the most money I can. And I'm going to still put myself in a winning situation because Philly is just in as good a position of winning a title next year as the Clippers are, if not better. And I don't hate him for that. I think that that's the smart move for him to make. This is why I don't see Klay Thompson. That's why CP3 wasn't going to sign for the vet minimum. He's got pride. This is why Klay Thompson is walking away from Golden State, right? Like, Golden State had an offer on the table for him. He can stay if he wants. He doesn't feel respected. And that's not anybody's business but his, because he's the one who's put in all the rehab work. He's the one who's put himself in this position. And to just say like, you should just play for like $10 million less than you think you're actually worth is ludicrous. Nobody would ever do that. If you thought you were worth $20 million and somebody said, yeah, but what about 10? You would laugh in their face. You would be like, you buddy. Do you know what I mean? Like, if any of us would do that. That's not unique to an NBA player. That's any normal human would be like, if I believe in my heart of hearts, in my soul, that I am worth $20 million, and you have the audacity to say, nah, just 10. Screw you, bro.
once again, again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Jamie Sweet from Lakerholics.com along with me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching this. And got over 118 people right now, but up to 135 just a couple seconds ago. If you like what you see, please like, follow, and subscribe today to get the latest notifications on when we go live on the air with the latest Lakers Fast Break. We're talking the end of day one of NBA free agency. Does not seem like there's going to be many more moves in the offering right now. There's still some moves that can be made, but I think Laker fans are getting a little bit antsy. I sense all day it getting a little bit more nervous and more nervous. I think JSJ in our chat is absolutely one of those individuals that personifies how the Lakers are feeling right now about the fact that right now the Lakers have yet to make a major move for a team that needs to make a major move, Jamie Sweet.
I just don't think that. Okay, so there's one major move, and it's based on somebody who fits the perfect category of what I was just talking about. And the fact that it sounds like it's LeBron that came to the Lakers with this idea is the only way it works. There's no way Rob Pelinka can go to LeBron James and say, dude, I know we were probably going to pay you $50 million if you had opted in, 51.4 exactly. But what about 30? And I know I see the people in there. I'm never going to leave the bunker, Kurt. I see the people in there. I don't feel any bad for anybody making millions. You've probably never made millions of dollars and maybe don't understand what I'm talking about. I haven't made millions of dollars either, but I have been asked to take a pay cut. I didn't like that. That didn't sit very well with me at all. So that's all I'm talking about. If you expect X amount of dollars and somebody says no, up to Y, and it's much less than you thought you were going to get, you will not be happy. I don't care how many zeros are after it or whatever. Like, you're not going to be happy about it. You're going to be annoyed. And if you're annoyed enough, you'll look for another job. That's what these dudes are doing. It's no different. It might not sit well with people who think that they're just playing a game and running around in shorts and going, wee, but that's not how it is. That's not what it is to them. And I can't stress that enough. And whether you agree with me or not is inconsequential, because that's what we're seeing happening. So there you go on that one.
Intel Wild in the super chat said Denver got weaker again, as Empire Jeff noted at the beginning of the show. That's a good thing, losing KCP. Absolutely.
Yes.
They're the cheap owners. Well, I don't know, relatively cheap. Frugal owners. They've been called a lot of things as far as the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
Spendthrifty is not one of them. They've been called cheap, trying to save money, things of that nature. And it looks like KCP is something that, and also as well, they traded Red Jackson the other day to get off his salary. There was rumor today that they thought they were working on a deal for Russell Westbrook, which is funny because now the Clippers have Kevin Porter Jr., Westbrook, and James Harden at your point guard position. That which, I know they're going to do something about that, but it's not sure what. But there are no offers yet Westbrook at this point in time. So Denver has gotten a little bit worse today by losing KCP. Your thoughts on how important KCP was to Denver and how important he could be? And thank you again, Intel Wild, for the super chat, and how important he could be to Orlando.
I mean, he was important to us when we won the title. I was never a huge KCP fan. I'll be the first to admit it. I thought that he was good for at least one turnover a game, if not one turnover a half, and like bad turnovers where it's like he just passes the ball to the other team on the break. Like, what are you doing kind of turnovers? But he played great defense, and he hit threes when he needed him to hit threes, especially in the clutch. And so there's also no denying that the Lakers got measurably worse when he left. So I think it's a great pickup. I mean, I will say this. I don't think it's as great a pickup for Orlando as it was for Denver, because I'm not sure that Orlando's quite in the place that Denver was when they got KCP, which was Jokic had already been great up till that point. And Murray was already good, just hurt. And everybody kind of believed in Michael Porter Jr. I would put Michael Porter Jr. in the Rui Hachimura category 3 years ago, right? Where it's like,
KCP was a starter for the Lakers and for the Nuggets on their championship teams.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, the guy brings a level of competitiveness and hustle to a team that makes the defense better, and he hits shots in the offense, which allows your stars to like get their assists, their triple doubles and stuff like that. I don't understand the Westbrook connection. I'm struggling. The only thing I can think of is, I mean, Bones Highland's an unrestricted free agent, right? So they have nothing to do with Bones. Like, he's gone.
No, I don't think so. The Clippers have his salary as well. They exercised a club option on him.
No. Bones Highland's on Denver. He was a Clipper.
No, he's on. I'm going to check right now.
No, I'm 92.3%. You're right.
He's on Denver. Yeah.
Man, if Oubre's on my list, I don't know. He was on the Clippers.
Let me go look at the contract right now. So
yeah, please do. Because if I'm wrong, I apologize.
It's still listing Clippers. It's still listing Clippers.
Oh, it is?
Okay. And that the club, I looked this up earlier today. This was as of earlier today.
You're right. I'm mistaken.
Still on the
I'm
Clippers,
flipping it.
Jamie.
Yeah, you're right.
Yes,
I'm flipping it.
He was on the Clippers.
My bad, right here.
Yeah, he did. They did sign him and exercise the option back in October 30th, 2023 for 24 and 25 at $4,100,000. So
JSJ, I'm with you.
He is signed. So basically, they have 4 point guards.
Yeah,
in their on their team right now. So they're going to be doing something to get rid of that long jab. But I'm not worried about the Clippers long jab in the toilet bowl. I'm worried about the Lakers log jam with a lot of guards in the backcourt that need time, and they're not going to get it. You just signed and committed to Max Christie for 4 years, $32 million. Now, mind you, again, in January, you can get off his contract if it doesn't work out. But you've got him, you've got, of course, Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell. Then you got Dalton Connect coming in there, Gabe Vincent. You've also got, of course, Jared Vanderbilt can go into a shooting guard, small forward, wherever you need him to go ahead and play defense on. Then you've got JHS and Maxwell Lewis. Where do you find time for all these guys, Jamie?
Oh, well, JJ is a basketball genius. He'll figure it out.
Well, according to Austin Reeves, that's correct. Yes.
It's a genius. I think we'll
I agree, insert name.
I think we'll probably play more small ball than we did under Darvin Ham. I think you'll see.
And that's fine, but you do need some size.
Oh, no, I totally agree. I totally agree.
Quality size.
So listen, right now we have, I mean, and I know people are going to disagree with me about whether Christian Wood's a power forward or a center. I'm calling him a center. He's 6'11", 6'10". He's 250. He's a center. If you want him to be. He might not want to be. AD doesn't want to be a center either. Nobody who's good at basketball wants to be a center, evidently, except Jokic and Embiid, but whatever. So I think that you'll see we've got a problem where we're overloaded at 6'10" and over guys and guards, and we have really Hachimura and LeBron as small forwards, right? In theory, LeBron's probably actually going to play more at the 4 than anywhere else this season. I think that's my prediction. He played mostly at the 4 and the 3 last season. So I think that unless we waive or end up waiving one of Wood or Hayes to clear a roster spot for LeBron to donate to the Lakers $20 million or somewhere in that range to sign DeMar DeRozan or Klay Thompson or whoever, that this is the team you're going to see, right? There won't be another move. That's
by the way, Kelly.
Yeah.
Well, Kelly Oubre Jr., he just signed with the Philadelphia 76ers, 2 years, $16.3 million deal. Probably his second year's a player option, but even if it's not, that's a good value contract.
It is. It is.
Gave them last year.
Somebody in the chat posted it a couple of seconds ago, and it is.
Yeah, that was Frank.
Yeah,
appreciate Frank.
There's a Frank. There, I believe it. He's, at least according to him, there was a player option. I don't know, dude. Like, there's no great moves. I don't think that we're gonna have somebody's not gonna play. Whether it's Vincent, Reeves, D'Lo, or Christie, one of those guys is just not going to play as much as they want. At that point, do you ask why the Lakers are keeping Max Christie on the team? Maybe, but I guess I understand why. I understand the logic behind it. I might not agree with it being that player, but it's not Max Christie's fault that he was drafted a season before the new CBA came into effect, right? Like, it's just how it is. There's another Jared Glassford here.
Yeah, is that Joe? Is that you?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I thought. It's Joe Soro. I'm changing your name right now. Hold on.
I'm doing it.
Here.
Anyway,
it is Joe Soro.
I
man?
Good.
Your thoughts, man, on a not very active day for the Lakers so far in free agency, but a lot of rumors and speculation on what LeBron may do, may sign, and who they may bring in to LA.
Well, let's wait for Jamie to finish what he was saying, and then I'll
go ahead, Jamie. My bad.
No worries. I mean, listen, the Lakers' moves are LeBron donates some money to us so we can sign somebody for the max MLE. That's the move. There's no other moves. Nobody wants Hachimura, or the Lakers don't want to trade him. I'm not sure which one it is. I don't know. I don't have any. I mean, I long ago thought Rob should be fired. I thought Rob should have been fired 2 coaches ago, but you know, I don't know what to tell you. Like, he's still here, so we just got to deal with it. There's no moves. This is the problem. Everybody seems to think that there's all these amazing, fantastic, imaginary moves that can be made, and I don't see them. I've never seen him. That's one of the reasons Tom gets annoyed at me every weekend, because I'm like, no, I don't see a crazy trade happening. He's like, oh.
Until Wild says we are effed again. Joe, I know you're probably going to agree to the statement, but like Intel Wild is asking, are we effed again?
Well, there's just like anything else in life, there's always a chance, right? But history says, at least in the last 3 seasons, that it doesn't look good. And it just doesn't, the optics, the information that's out there doesn't coincide with a team that is organized in any way or has any kind of direction. What's happened is you have an agency and you have a player that is dictating trades, that's talking to players. The information out there is LeBron is talking to Klay, and I'm sitting here going, what the hell does that even mean? Why isn't Rob Pelinka talking to Klay? And why are we talking to Klay? I love Klay. I love his dad. I love that family. I love everything about them. But Klay's done, folks. He's done. To go through all this for someone who can't play anymore to the capabilities of what he needs to be playing at. And if you think that just having him for the mid-level exception would be fine, sure, absolutely be fine. If your team was ready. If your team was already ready. But he would be an important cog. At least that's what they would need now. Important cogs are at MLEs is not a good sign that your team is good. That is an extra. It should be an extra thing. And we all know what's happened the last 2 years, folks, picking an injury-riddled MLE player. You want to get him in a trade? Now what? Is Rob going to give everybody a player option like he's done the last couple seasons too? What's the deal with Rob and player options? Half the damn team gets player options. Guys that have no business having any decision on staying on this team when they're not good enough.
I believe the salary cap implications last season were the reason why he offered all those guys player options. I believe it was more friendly to the salary.
So the CBA has put in stipulations that require this, correct?
Not don't require it. They encourage it. Let's just say it encourages it if you do offer a player option.
They encourage it?
Well, I just say I think you do get financial benefits.
The way a mob guy encourages you to endorse his protection.
Oh, okay.
It's just basically that's your. I know that's why last year why all these guys got player options that are now picking them up is because it was financially beneficial to the Lakers to do so. So now we got in a situation where we're paying the price on the back end, where all these guys picked up their contracts that, well, quite frankly, Joe, I don't know if you still want to pay them the minimum salary.
The Lakers have half their roster right now. Half. I'm talking 7 players right now, including Max Christie and everyone's favorite son. 2 of those 7 are guys that are gonna get. One of them is gonna get destroyed the moment he starts playing. The other is a guy that they just gave $8 million to, that they can't trade until January 15th. I mean, that might as well be 2055 for this team. Why did they pay him $8 million a year? I'm gonna take a guess that the genius JJ Redick, quote unquote, might have said something to Rob, and Rob believed him. Apparently, normal eyes don't matter. It's JJ. The coach said, "Yeah, I want to use him." What does Max Christie do? What has Max Christie done in 2 seasons that have given you any indication that this guy's going to be a rotational player? What's going to change between what we saw last year and then this coming year? What would change?
I mean, that's what we're hoping JJ Redick can bring out. I
Team?
mean, people talk about him unlocking supposedly D'Angelo and Austin. I think those guys who are already mid to late 20s, they're already much the players that they are. A guy like Max Christie still needs young, early 20s. That's the guy, if there's anything in him, Joe, that you can bring out. Those are the guys, the Dalton Connects, the Max Christies. Those are the guys in the world that you need to bring out the max in their potential right away.
Well, Connect has shown skills that only Max can dream of, even in the,
and I agree with you on that. I'm just
and that's a completely different. That's a completely different. That's again apples and oranges at that point. And the Lakers did do something right in the offseason. This in that particular selection by picking the best player available at that time. At least in my opinion, my limited amount of college basketball viewership and just doing a little research, I'd say when I missed when they picked. I actually missed it. I had to look on my phone and I saw Connect on there. I was like, oh, good. They did pick the best player available at that point. And I know it made it a little easier not having to go after where obviously Filipowski's had his issues. I don't know what the deal with that is, but
a lot of family drama that we weren't aware of until
and it looks like the NBA might have smartened up with the family drama because I think that a lot of the NBA learned their lesson from the Ball family. The Ball family, it turned out to be a distraction that was worse than initially thought of. They thought, well, the talent, Lonzo Ball and LaMelo being as talented as they are, that they can kind of push away from that a little bit. Problem is, as talented as LaMelo is, when you're not available, you're not talented to me. Your talent means nothing. And it's not a coincidence to me, and maybe I'm being mean here, but these guys get their big contracts, all of a sudden they start getting injured. Because a lot of times what happens is they take their foot off the pedal, guys. Players take their foot off the pedal. They stop training as hard. They start focusing on extracurricular activities. They probably don't eat as well. They weren't eating well at the beginning anyways. You could just tell their skin looks like crap. They look like crap. It's tiring. It's tiring. Now, what I'm surprised is what the Lakers do. The Lakers like that kind of drama. They like family stuff, right? I'm surprised they didn't go after him. But in the end, until this organization does something here within the next day, 2 or 3, I don't really see what's gonna how things are gonna change. It doesn't. I'm not seeing it. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything that's showing any kind of next level thinking. If you think hiring JJ Redick as a coach is something that we're supposed to be excited about, well, folks, good luck. We're all hoping we're wrong, but someone without any coaching experience on a team that's on the down, where the guy that's 39 years old that's ready to check out here in a few years is running your team with dopes like Rich Paul and Maverick Carter. You're letting these guys run the LA Lakers, the team that was run by Jerry West, the greatest executive, in my opinion, in sports history, who produced 2 of the greatest coaches in NBA history, who've won 11 championships since 1979, who had the greatest sports owner, in my opinion, in all sports. Come on, guys. I mean, talk about going down the toilet. I mean, it's a sad state of affairs here.
Once again, it is Joe Soro from Simblades and also as well LakersBall.com and Jamie Sweet from Lakerholics.com. It's Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much again for listening. We've got 150 people here watching now. If you like what we do, please like, follow, and subscribe to get the latest notifications on when we go live on the air with the latest Lakers Fast Break podcast. We're closing up Lakers as far as the NBA free agency day 1. Jamie, let me bring it back to you here real quick, my friend. When it comes to what you're seeing with the Lakers, again, the amount of things that they can do is getting pretty restricted. Do you see them getting creative at all? Do you see Rob as the type of guy, the type of GM that can do some creative things to help improve the roster?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't. Okay. Let me quantify that. No, I don't think Rob is that kind of guy, but I do think that at this point in his career as the Laker GM, if there isn't some kind of pressure from ownership, and let's remember something here. Jeannie Best doesn't just solely own the Lakers. There's a whole consortium of people that are minority owners. They don't have a majority share in the team, but it's not just her, it's her family. It's a whole cast of characters that quote unquote own the team. Now, I'm not saying that they have a great big voice and everything, but should they start feeling displeasure, that will put pressure on everybody to make a change like firing Rob. So it's hard for me to sit here and be like, everybody who's a part of the Laker ownership group is happy with the situation right now, right? Like, we're running it back. We're basically hoping that JJ Redick is not just a little bit better than Darvin Ham, but like a lot better than Darvin Ham. And we're hoping Gabe Vincent and Jared Vanderbilt being healthy are enough for, let's say, 5 more wins. All of those things together equal 5 more wins, which gets you to the 5th seed, I believe, from last season.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right? So the difference between
gets you in that range, yeah.
Gets you into that range. No, I think last season there was very few games between 3 through 10.
But you're also counting at this stage of his career a healthy LeBron to play another 65 plus games and AD to play another 75 plus games.
Especially AD, but yes, you are because you're paying AD an outlandish sum of money, and you're maybe going to pay LeBron between a sort of outlandish and really outlandish sum of money, right? It's either going to be $30 to $50 million. So yes, that's right. You are counting on them to be about what they were last season. And if they're not, it doesn't matter. All these moves don't matter. The Redick move, the Christie move, if we make a trade, don't make a trade, doesn't matter. LeBron and AD can't go, does not matter. It doesn't matter what you do after that. You're not getting anywhere. You're not making the playoffs. You're not going to make the play-in. Yeah, you might make the play-in. You might make the play-in. You might even get to the second round of the play-in. You're not going anywhere in the playoffs. We didn't go in the playoff anywhere in the playoffs with a healthy LeBron and AD last season. So, and you could argue, oh, this, that, and the other thing. This is what we have to work with, right? We only have what happened last season and what we've seen happen today and up until this point in the summer. And so, yeah, I don't like, what's the big trade, right? Like, I know it's too bad Klay Thompson not here. He'd probably have 7 trades that he could tell us about that is just going to totally, like a phoenix reborn from the ashes, so the Lakers arise from last season. But I don't see them, and it's not, I don't think, because I'm unimaginative, because I can think of plenty of players that I would like to see be on the Lakers. I just don't think that our assets are good enough to get most of them, or the ones that are gettable we don't actually want. And that's where we are at. We are stuck between mediocrity and ineptitude, and we're hoping that somebody is going to throw us a lifeline, a preserver of some sort. We're like that guy in 28 Days Later who had to cut off his arm or whatever he did to get himself out. Or what was that movie called where the hippie falls?
Yeah, I know. I remember it's with Franco.
120 years in a cave. I forget what it was called, but whatever,
Yes.
Something like that. I'm roughly around the title of the movie, but you know what I'm saying? Like, what's the move? Like, are we going to try? Everybody, I'm looking at the chat and I'm just like, no, no. And I don't want to.
Because you always have to look at it from the other team's perspective. If you're talking about this trade and that trade, remember, Lakers only have 2 first-round picks left that they can trade,
and they're 5 years away. They're 5 years away. Half the GMs in the league won't have the job in 5 years, easily.
So, with that, Joe, let me ask you this: what conceivably, if you were running the Lakers right now, would you try to probably maneuver your assets forward to see if you can go ahead and get this team to be in a better slot next season?
Are you talking in today's current situation, or in general?
Just in general right now? What do you, if you were in the chair right now, Nel Segundo, where would you go? What direction would you turn to?
Oh boy, that's a loaded question. Well, my first all right. I would have sat down with LeBron and said, we're gonna continue. We would prefer you to opt back in and play out the year, and then try to equip the team for one more run. I would not sacrifice an additional 2 years of a ship that's sinking.
Okay.
And I obviously wouldn't have hired JJ Redick. I would have hired someone else, and you all know who that is.
Yes.
So there's been some questions today. I think some really good questions. My favorite signing today was Orlando signing KCP. KCP is the perfect gorilla glue in a construction project.
Brings a championship pedigree, can shoot the three, can play perimeter defense to a team that already plays good defense, Joe.
He is like Ron Harper of this era. He is phenomenal in the role he's in.
Without the knee injuries.
I was gonna say that's maybe a little generous, but yeah. I feel the vibe. I'm with the vibe.
Yeah. He's that guy that just does what needs to get done. And Orlando picked the perfect leader to be a role player for a team on the up. I'd say that was my favorite one. That was my favorite one in the realm of signings, like in a not joking way. My favorite signing today was actually James Harden going back to the Clippers, because that pretty much solidifies that the Clippers won't win dick anytime,
$35 million
anywhere.
a year. That is just insane.
So bringing that guy back, good luck, Ballmer. Good luck,
Have fun with
Inglewood.
the toilet bowl.
Enjoy your toilets. That stuff will wear out in about 6 months, and then they'll start having to sell tickets over there for like $10. So yeah, if I was in charge, I think that's a good question, G. If I was in charge, number one, JJ Redick would not have been hired. Number two, there wouldn't be this "We Are the World" tour of trying to get father and son to play in the same game, because I'm about winning championships, not this isn't daddy daycare. And then LeBron James and Rich Paul and Maverick Carter, whom I'm not very fond of, they would have 1 year to prove to me that they're worthy of getting another year after that. And then I'd be sitting down with Anthony Davis going, what do you want? Because I don't ever hear you talk. I'd like to know what Anthony Davis wants, because he's the only two-way player on this team in his prime. How come no one talks about Anthony Davis?
He's boring.
Yeah. Well,
supposedly he's been a part of this process, Joe, but we haven't.
Tim Duncan was boring. Tim Duncan was boring. I don't mind boring guys as long as they play.
Tim Duncan was legendary, though.
Yes.
AD ain't legendary. He's just not. I mean, you could argue that Tim Duncan was legendary because of the cast of characters around him and he had an incredible team around him. He had an incredible coach who understood how to maximize all of those guys' talents. And, there you have it. But I don't know.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm with you. I'm in a place of disbelief and stupefaction.
I cannot, guys. I come on. Before I get on the show, I'm thinking like you guys. Like, man, is there something that you can do that's more positive? And I really am digging. I've dug. I really, really have. I actually said after the Connect pick, I'm like, oh, good, finally something kind of positive.
But that's because Rob has the bar set so incredibly low. Do you understand? Like, everybody got so excited because Rob did the right thing. They were like, oh my gosh, he didn't not pick the best player. Slow clap. Everybody start the slow clap. Yeah, this is the bar. If that's the bar for your GM to be successful, you're in a sorry state. And that's where we're at, and we can complain about it all we want, right? We can be like, this is bad, that's bad. And we do. I'm not saying we don't, because we are and we do. But there's nothing that accomplishes nothing, right? And so this is, and I feel the same way when I see trades proposed all the time, as if and I understand why people do that, because it comes from a desire, like you're saying, to dig down and find what could be good about this situation, right? I know what I'll do. I'll come up with a fake trade, and it looks like it addresses a lot of our needs, and I'm gonna completely ignore what the other team may or may not want. But that's what we're doing. I'm gonna do a fake trade, right? Hey, it was fun. It worked out great. But that it does nothing. Right? It accomplishes nothing. None of us are the GM. None of us are the owner. We have to sit here and either basically take it, right? We have to say, all right, well, this is the team, huh? But I will say this: there's a breaking point for me. I'm a lifelong Angels fan. I've not watched. I will not support the team until Artie Moreno sells his team. I still like the Angels. I still, I check out what they're doing on ESPN. I was excited when they won a few games in a row to start inching their way back towards 500. But I have no illusion that I will actually spend money on that team or much time on that team while Artie Moreno owns it. And I'm quickly approaching that point with the Lakers because my time is quite valuable to me, as it should be to all of us. And if you're going to waste my time with a joke that I don't find funny, I don't need to pay for that. I don't need to spend time on that. I don't need to be connected really in any way to that. I will wait. I'm very patient. I'm extremely patient. I will wait. Team, well, it won't go anywhere. It's going to stay in LA. Nobody's moving the Lakers to Idlewild or to Oklahoma or some other place. So this is where I'm at. I wholly and completely understand that I have no actual influence on the outcome of events, that I am simply a bystander watching a train wreck in slow motion since we won the title in 2020. And because of that, I think that this organization got just maybe a little bit too much social credit, social cachet, whatever you want to call it, because if they had not won that title, where would we all be with our opinions about all of this right now? It would be so much worse. We would be so much more annoyed to a degree I don't even want to contemplate. So these are the choices before us, right? We either spend our time and our money and our focus on something that really makes us angry, or you can choose another path. But it's the path of, well, you better find a different hobby and something else to spend your time on.
But right now, our choices have become limited. I know I hear in the chat and I read in the chat, Mitchell Robinson to try and get him away from New York, even though they could be losing Isaiah Hartenstein. I see Omer Yurtseven's name after he was waived today by the Utah Jazz. I hear, the choices there, Joe, are getting less and less. And we already have two backup centers already that couldn't get it done this past season. The options are getting less and less, and the time in order to try and find somebody to help this team, Joe, is running out as well.
Can we just not call them choices, though?
Okay.
They're not.
They're players that are available. How about that, Joe?
That's fair.
There's a quote one of my mentors had on his wall, and I think you guys have heard this before. Some of you have heard it. It's a popular one. Until morale improves, the beatings will continue. and guys, for those of you, and it's a compliment that people are describing us as negative. I can see in the comments that it is a compliment, and the thing is, guys, is you can't change a negative by
wishing
and hoping. Same mentor I had, that same mentor also had a quote, and it was, "There's no hope in this business." Now, the interpretation game in life is interesting, because I keep hearing the same stupid line with this whole
subscriber
night thing. And you can see all the hacks on TV, on the radio, also suckered into that interpretation that they think we're talking about, LeBron is bringing in his own crew and his own family and all this.
They're already here, man.
I'm like, I'm not commenting on who you know, what you know, and the network you're bringing in. I understand that. My issue is, what's the limit? This team does not have room to be mediocre in any of these decisions. And then you start hearing excuses. Well, no one at 55 has ever been picked. Now everybody's in their absolutes and they're making excuses. You can always tell a BSer by comments like that. Well, nothing's ever happened here. How the hell do you know that you couldn't have picked somebody there that would have mattered? Then that's not even the point. The point is you are letting someone else that is not in your position make decisions for your business. How am I going to respect you for that? And do you think I want to? And maybe some think that it's just best to think positive. Okay, well, good for you. You do that. If that makes you feel good, that's great. I'm not going to do that. The punishments are coming. Now, I'm not a big enough name. I don't have a big enough voice like a Stephen A. Smith or a Wojnarowski or any of these guys. But there was a time that they also were starting, and no one knew who the hell they were. And it's important that we don't settle for mediocrity and ineptness. I'm not going to do it. This is the LA Lakers, folks. How many times do I got to say this? For those who haven't heard us say this, I'm going to say it again. We have a pretty big crowd here tonight. Very happy about that. And because it is late, it's nice to see a big crowd late at night. And we are not going to stand back as Laker fans and say, well, let's see. No. I've been watching for 3 seasons. I've seen enough. And I'm seeing the same BS again. Again. Today. Yesterday. The day before. When is it going to stop? When? When they win when they win, I don't know what, 4 in a row next year, you're going to get happy? No, I'm not going to do it. It's done. This organization is being run by people that don't have any business running an NBA team.
Cool.
We cannot get rid of Genie. Therefore, we can advise on some solutions because there are a lot of absentee owners out there. And I would highly recommend Genie do that. To go away, piss off, hire a competent player personnel GM that can build a championship team, even if it takes another 3 or 4 years. And let's go. Otherwise, you're just constantly doing the same thing over and over again. You all know that line. Everyone's heard that line, and I'm not going to say it. You all know what it is. And that's where we're at right now, guys. And it looking like right now, in about a day or two, this is about to get worse. Because if all this stuff is for Klay Thompson, all this for Klay Thompson,
I hope not.
the guy that went 0 for 10 in his last game, the guy that struggled for the last 3 seasons, because his
ACL
leg is
and
done.
Achilles.
He's done, folks. Klay is done. This team has no room for charity. You already just got charity 2 days ago. How much more charity are we going to put on this team? This is a professional basketball team. This isn't the freaking Salvation Army. Get with it.
So do you think the Lakers have not learned their lesson, or let's say Rob has not learned his lesson from 2022 when he, did all the signings and free agent signings and basically acquired the 2012 All-Star team, unfortunately 10 years too late? Jamie, I mean, with this path, all I'm hearing is old player, older player, older player, guys that are past their prime. It doesn't make for, this is a game where younger players are making their headway in the league, and to get guys or look at guys always in the 30s and mid 30s, it just does not seem like the Lakers really understand what it takes to compete in today's NBA.
Yeah, I mean, when you say learn the lesson, I think that I take that to mean, and maybe I'm misinterpreting it, but I take that to mean that at some point I was supposed to have a belief that Rob was going to get better at his job. And I have actually never thought that. So I mean, let's just put all of this in context, right? Like, Rob Pelinka got his job because Magic quit because he thought Rob Pelinka was trying to undermine his job, and then Rob Pelinka got his job, and then Rob Pelinka was basically given a team that won an NBA title in the bubble, circumstances that were that are unreplicatable circumstances. The way that whole season went down will never be replicated. You could argue that there were some built-in advantages for the Lakers and that there were some built-in disadvantages. I happen to think that there were more built-in advantages at the time, and that the Lakers did a good job of making the best of that situation, better than any other team did, and so that title was well-deserved. However, that title created a false sense of stability, especially in the front office, because after we won that title, not 6 months later, the season had started again. And then guys started dropping like flies. And not just Lakers, a lot of guys who had played in the playoffs, a lot of guys who had played in the bubble started dropping like flies due to injury. Then Rob didn't stay the course the season he should have, which was 2021. The one after the bubble, not the one. It's hard to remember because the bubble and the other season get jammed up so much. But had we stayed the course with that season, when we had KCP, when we had Kyle Kuzma, when we had Alex Caruso, when we had LeBron and AD, that is what's known as a core. We blew up the core for Russell Westbrook, and we have never recovered. And we will never recover until all of the draft picks that we traded for AD come back and we're able to suck enough to draft a top 5 player, or we're able to entice somebody like Luka, although Luka already looks kind of old in my opinion, and when he has bad knees in the playoffs every season, it's concerning to me. But somebody at the next 30-ish superstar who wants to run a team from the sidelines, which is what the Lakers do. They've done it with every superstar that's come through, and we talked about this the other night, and I don't want to go back over it again. But this is nothing new. And so I don't think that Rob's learned the lesson. I don't think he thinks there's a lesson to be learned, and that's the problem. I don't think that he has any conception at all that he is not doing. And you're right, Pale Facts. I have not watched 1 minute of Dalton Connect. I don't watch college basketball. I don't watch amateurs. I don't waste my time. We've already established that my time is very valuable to me, I believe. I don't need to go back into that either. What lesson does he think he has to learn? That he destroyed a championship team and he's sorry? Like, he's not. That he blames coaches for his missteps and ineptitude? He does. He didn't learn that lesson from Darvin Ham. He just did it again. He literally just did it again and hired a rookie coach so that he can have another scapegoat. But that has to be the last coach he ever hires, because if it's not, that for me will be the last straw. That is when I will turn off the TV. That is when I will stop going to crypto.com. And that is when I will probably stop podcasting as well, because I will not be spending time on the Lakers after that until something meteoric changes, because that is the type of pride I have in myself. The Lakers are not the most important thing in my life. That may be surprising to some people. They're just not. This has a finite point at which I will commit myself to things. If my investment of time and effort and thought is not in some way reciprocated, and I'm not talking about you fine gentlemen, I mean by the thing that we're talking about, what's the point? All we're going to do is come on here and just like bash things, right? And that's not, this isn't enjoyable. This isn't fun. It's important. I think it needs to be done, but thanks, Pale. Maybe I will.
No, you don't have to go. Don't listen to Pale.
I don't listen to anybody, Gerald. You know that. My opinions of what my people are. No, actually, it's over that way in my garage.
Yeah.
It's over that way.
Sorry.
The door's over there.
Sorry, Pale. He's more important to the show than your wise.
Oh, I mean, whoever people can say whatever. I've said many times and will continue to say, like, I'm not here to tell you what to think. If you're coming to me for life advice.
We can all agree to disagree, but being
100%.
rude like that is
No. That's not rude.
So
That's
you
not
can
rude.
go if that's the case, pal.
Whatever. I don't even see it as being rude. I look at it as I look at it as good-natured ribbing from somebody who thinks
if he
it's
was on
sexy.
the air and somebody told him that,
Yeah,
I think he would see it in a different perspective. But that's okay. Again,
whatever.
it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. Truly appreciate you joining us. Ken, it is Jamie Sweet coming back here anytime he so chooses here from Lakerholics.com, and of course Joe Soro as well. It's funny how the man crush is out there at times, and then the man gets crushed at other times. But
no, it doesn't matter. At Sovereign, listen, it's all good, man. Like nobody has to like. Thank you for standing up for me, I guess, and I appreciate it. But like, I will forget about this entire experience as soon as I take off my headphones and go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
People can disagree if they want. That's fine. But Joe, let me get it back to you again. The Lakers not made any great movements. We hear about supposedly the sacrifice, quote unquote, that LeBron is making. But again, Roy put it in the comments, something I wanted to talk to you about in regards to before the rudeness was there in the chat. One thing I want to ask you is about Roy said about the LeBron era being the worst in Lakers history. I don't know if you concur with that. There, of course, the story has yet to be fully written on the LeBron era, but it certainly won't be the most, I guess, appreciated or well-lauded time in Lakers history for the LeBron era, however you wish to define it.
Let me answer 805's question. Yes, Jalen Hood-Schifino is a better player than Bronny James. We'll let that play out. We'll let that play out as time goes.
Hopefully, we'll see it here in a few days.
Yeah. To answer your question, no, the LeBron era is not the worst in Lakers history. As a matter of fact, it was the moment Kobe tore his Achilles until LeBron came.
Agreed.
And the beginning of the Kobe era ending, or the beginning of Kobe era ending, isn't necessarily anyone's fault. It's just I'm just going by what transpired after. Mm-hmm. There was only one solution at that time, and that's in the NBA. It's very difficult to be great without great players, and they tried to tank and get high picks and didn't necessarily get those stars that they probably should have. They left a lot on the table there, and then they went back to the normal routine, which is let's just go get a star. Let's have him come as a free agent or go trade for him, which is what they did with LeBron and AD. What has happened with LeBron is he is probably one more off season from almost making me wish we could give back the 2020 title and not have him ever be a Laker.
I hope it doesn't ever get to that point.
LeBron is an exhausting person. He's exhausting. There are several great players that are egotistical, narcissistic, self-absorbed a-holes. But I honestly can say this without, and how can we not say he's a Laker? We know firsthand now. We can't sit here and say in Cleveland and Miami, no, he was a Laker. We know now. He is absolutely he's a virus. He's a bad virus. Once he sets in, he starts killing everything around him. And that virus stays in this little bubble, protected, and then he'll leave that situation dead, and then he goes off and does it again somewhere else. He's the quintessential virus. You know that virus that the Smiths said in the Matrix? when he's talking to Morpheus?
Yes.
That's LeBron James.
Mm.
He's a virus. He infects everything around him. And his apologists sit there and say, you're jealous. You don't like success. You don't like this. And you don't like his family. And you don't do this. Even after you tell these morons, I don't give two shits about LeBron James outside the two hoops. I don't care what LeBron does outside that court, who his family is, where he's from. I don't care. But what I do care is he is sabotaging my favorite team. And the morons that run my favorite team are allowing it. All in the name of what? For what? So that you can stay relevant? You're the LA Lakers. You're not the Cleveland Cavaliers. If you had 5 G Leaguers playing for the Lakers, you'd still be more popular than LeBron James. The Lakers are more popular in this planet than LeBron James. How do you not know that and you own that team? And that right there, folks, is the easiest way I can explain this so that you guys can't get confused. It's become bigger than the Lakers. And I'm not going to allow it, and I'm not going to shut up about it. I'm sorry, I'm not. Maybe one day the voice will be out there. Maybe I'll be a part of a voice that can change. I don't know. At the end of the day, you know, Jamie said something about there are more important things than the Lakers and sports and all that. That is true. I have more important things that concern me. This is just like I only care about what the guys are doing on the court. My frustrations and my impatience in this thing that we're talking about here is just involving this. When I get off air, I'm not like sitting in a corner in a fetal position, hyperventilating. Like, you know, this is not that kind of life. No, but I am going to comment if this situation isn't going to change. I'm still going to comment with passion and aggression because, you know, it is a big part of my life. I do enjoy watching. I do like competition. I am addicted to sports. It's who I am. I love sports. I love competition. So why not, if you're gonna spend all this time doing this, can you stop letting somebody else run your organization and actually try to focus on winning? Is it that hard? You know, we have the receipts, folks. We knew, Laker fans knew in the mid 90s. We knew from 1992 until Shaq arrived. We knew the Van Exels, the Sedell Threets, the Vlade Divacs, the Eldon Campbells. We knew those guys were never going to win a championship. But man, those guys broke their backs and won games. Like, they won series they shouldn't have won. They took teams to the brink that they shouldn't have taken to the brink. They were at least trying to play hard and fulfill the Laker lore, even though we knew they never, you know, they wouldn't be Magic or Kareem or any of these guys. So we have the receipts that we would support a team that we know can't win. But not this. This is not what I signed up for. I didn't sign up so that LeBron James can take those two bozos that kiss his ass all day and have him run my favorite team. No. LeBron is a player. He should sit down, have input, but that's it. Not run the team. And that's what's going on right now. And I'm not going to shut up about it.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Joe Soro along with Jamie Sweet. Truly appreciate you joining us. We're wrapping up day one of the NBA free agency. Big crowd today. If you like what you see and like what you hear and like the feistiness and the opinion making that we do make here on a daily basis here at the Lakers Fast Break, please like and subscribe. All the viewers that we're seeing, virtually all of them, are on YouTube. So please subscribe on YouTube today to get the latest notifications when we go live on the air. Like tomorrow night, we'll be back for day 2, a wrap up. And if anything big happens throughout the day, we'll come back with breaking news as well. So Jamie, as we start to head on out here, go ahead and get some final thoughts on day one. Not exactly the wall-to-wall signings, crazy maneuvers, big time trades. Most of this was relatively mindful spending. Some deals are a little bit questionable. Again, it is what it is, but nothing really outlandish at this point in time. You could say, oh, outside of maybe James Harden, but even if James Harden does play anywhere near now what he used to do without Paul George, it's not so terrible a deal, but still 35 for him, man, that's a lot of cash. But be that as it may, it's only a 2-year deal. But getting back to what I'm saying, these teams are a little bit being more mindful with the salary cap at that second tax apron in mind.
Yeah, no, because it's very difficult to do anything. Once you punch past that second apron, you can't trade draft picks. You can't exceed salary sent out coming back in trade. So there's zero wiggle room. You have to get dollar for dollar on your trades, like penny for penny, basically. It's these. I know that to people who just kind of enjoy the game, like there's a whole world behind what you watch on TV that I think a lot of people maybe don't spend a lot of time on, and that's what there's no problem with that, right? That's I'm not saying like, oh, you're a bad fan because you don't understand how the CBA. I don't really understand how the CBA works. I have a cursory knowledge of it at best, and I'm happy to admit that. There are people out there who get paid to dissect it, and those people are lawyers. I am not a lawyer. So with that in mind, this is kind of how we kicked off the show. Like, I'm not surprised by the lack of splashy, epic movement because there's so very little to work with once you push past that second apron. So there's not going to be a bunch of teams that just blow past it unless they absolutely love their team exactly as it is, and they have everyone under contract for a pretty significant amount of time. Because as we're seeing with Hartenstein, the Knicks can't put him back on the team. There is no mechanism which they have to shed salary. They have to get rid of somebody else. So this shouldn't be surprising, right? This is what everybody should have. If anything, this is why I don't tune into any TV show that talks about sport ever, because none of them actually speak the truth. Nobody predicted, oh, this is going to be one of the most boring free agencies maybe ever because of this new CBA. We won't have a lot to talk about, so we're actually just going to punt our show to Tuesday and just sort of report on everything all at once, because the TV doesn't work like that. For anybody who's ever worked in television or understands how television works, so this is, I guess, where I come in. That I'm not surprised. I wasn't surprised. I was happy to see that we stayed young. That's where I'm at, right? Like, I talked about a low bar earlier. My bar is also set pretty low in terms of expectation. I'm happy to see we stayed young with Max Christie. Not because I'm happy that Max Christie is some incredible player, but at least we didn't get another 39-year-old or 38-year-old. Like, I can't deal with any more 30. I think you're muted, Cheryl. You said something, but I didn't hear you. But anyway, I don't know. I was not wowed by free agency, and I was not expecting to be wowed on free agency. So, there we go. That's where I'm at with this. And so I get it that, like, there's a desire for the kablooey, look who we got moment, but I mean, let's be honest. The Lakers had no cap space to work with. The young players they can trade, they don't want to. The role players they have aren't super desirable on other teams. The only reason we kept them was because of that Western Conference Finals run. We fired the coach who did that.
Yeah.
After he underperformed. So this is what like. There's this whole snowball that I feel like I've been watching for like 3 or 4 days, and like suddenly everybody who's in the chateau is amazed that it hit them. Like, I'm like, you guys haven't been watching the snowball for the last couple of years. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, that's Well,
I'm just making sure, like you said, youth, that if they're going to do that, they're going to give guys like Connect every opportunity to succeed.
Same with
You
Christie.
got him for first round draft pick. Give him the opportunity, the touches, and the minutes to succeed.
Honestly,
if that's not going to be the key. Well, I was going to say, if you've got a 34, 35-year-old player in his place playing those minutes instead of Connect, how is he going to develop? You're going to have a situation with like Christie all over again, where you're guessing whether or not he's ever going to live up to his potential.
No, I totally agree. And I just, my point being is like and I'm not speaking for everybody. I will never speak for everybody. I'm speaking solely for myself. And that's what I came into today thinking. Like, I just hope we stay young. And so then when we did just stay young, and that we didn't do some crazy trade like Rui Hachimura for, I can't think, like Clint Capella or something like that. You know what I mean? Where I've just been like, why are we getting older? Like, why are we getting older? Did we not just watch a young team in Boston steamroll opponent after opponent? Yes, Al Horford was old. He's like the only one. He's the only one over 31. Everybody else on that team is under 30. That's what it takes to win in the NBA. The NBA is a young man's game. It's not baseball. It's not golf. It's not the quarterback in football. There's not a bunch of rules protecting you from injury. You have to run and jump and play hard. And we're relying on one old guy to do that. We got one old guy. That's enough. That's enough. Stay young. At least do that, because then you might be able to keep some of these young guys, and they might improve or might not. Then you let them walk or whatever. But if you're bringing in 37, 38-year-olds, there's no upside there. There's no room for anything but, well, I hope you don't get hurt. So that's where I'm coming from. Like, we didn't get older.
So, Joe, I'm going to finish it with you, my friend. And thank you again, Jamie, man. Make sure before you head on out, you're going to give me the plug for Lakerholics.com, and I'll bring it back to you one more time, my friend.
Sure.
I'm going to close it out with something Thameless said in the chat. He said he likes the no filter vibe of this channel, but it's a little more negative than reality. I respectively appreciate you watching, but I respectively disagree on that. We hit you hard with reality. He said it was a championship in 2020 with LeBron AD, a Western Conference Finals 2 seasons ago, a play-it-off team that competed very well with Denver in the first round, but still lost in 5 games. We're not the Pistons guys. No, but we are firmly in purgatory, Joe. Do we have the key to get out is the question.
I've been thinking about that. I look back on the Stockton Malone era. They were losing in the first round and second round and Western Conference Finals. They made the finals a couple of years, lost to Jordan, but no one really held that against them because it was Jordan and all that. And those guys were just raking every year in the playoffs, and they never won anything. But the issue with this particular regime is it was a lost opportunity. It's the lost opportunity that never kind of came about. And the opportunity was lost because the people in charge did not know what they were doing. Trading for Westbrook, going old in 2022, and then hiring Darvin Ham. These decisions set the Lakers back and not allowing them to. They essentially wasted the LeBron AD run. And LeBron had some say in that too. And there's a lineage here with LeBron. He's done this before. And that's playing a big part in that. And I don't particularly like Jeannie Buss. And I don't like Rob Pelinka. I don't like them. I don't like them as people. I think Jeannie's decision-making with Jerry West, Jeannie's decision-making in certain social decisions with stuff that was going on in the country. Rob, from the moment I saw him in that KCP press conference, gave off a really, really weird vibe. And folks, this is what I do for a living. I'm a people analyzer. That's what I do every day. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist, but I know how to read people. And the denial and the positiveness in that situation is I always regret it when I do it. I do it because I don't want to drain the room. You guys are this room. I'm talking about the people in the chat, right? Because the guys on the show like Jamie and Gerald, obviously Nick, our crew knows who I am. They're done with like trying to figure that out. They already know like what's up. But for those of you who are on the chat in the chat room that want to come here and maybe escape a little bit, and then you hear some jackass that being negative, I can understand why you're frustrated sometimes. I get it. Believe me, I understand. There's nothing you guys say that I don't read and go, there might be some truth there. Because believe it or not, guys, I've turned on our show, because I do want to, you do have to critique your work sometimes because you're not going to get better unless you listen and watch and analyze. I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. There has been times where I've turned the show on, I say like 3 words and I'm like, oh my God. And I turn it off. So even I was disgusted with how I was talking.
Sure.
So when you guys shit on me about what I say, I'm not sitting there going, oh my God, they don't like me anymore. No, I'll probably like, yeah, you're probably right. You were right on that one. But in the end on this, guys, I'm sorry, but this team has not given me any reason to be positive because they're not doing anything. They're getting worse. LeBron is going to be 40. If LeBron was 28, there might be a little bit of, okay, we want to keep LeBron here for another 10 years. I get it. But this team is fried. And LeBron can't do what he did before. 25, 7, and 6 is good for stats. It's good for his legacy. Has nothing to do with the Lakers. I don't go and look at LeBron's stats and cream over him. And if you do that, then you're not really watching basketball. You're just obsessed with a dude. This team is not focused on winning championships. That was the anger. They're not focused on winning championships. Their focus 2 days ago was to appease a moment. And I'm not, Jamie talked about how I'm not going to watch this. Well, I said I'm not going to watch this either. But the problem now is I am getting messages nonstop from some of my favorite people here, and it's killing me because they're very nice words. They're kind words, and it hurts. It hurts to say, hey, man, I can't. But at the same time, I'm like, I'll sit down sometimes and I'm preparing the show, reading some details before I get on. I'm like, man, I got to really figure out what the hell I'm going to do here. I still have not really figured it out. So in the end here, guys, it's just, there has to finally, this team has to finally get to an identity. They don't have one, and anytime they make a decision, it's always something that's just doesn't make any sense. And usually when they do that, they don't come out well. You look at the 2020 season, they traded AD. They traded for AD and got rid of 3 players, draft picks. That made sense. You get the best 2-way player on the planet onto your team with LeBron James. You bring in Dwight Howard, which I was not for because he had stained himself from the last thing, and it turned out that was one of the few times I was wrong. He was great for that team that year. JaVale McGee had a great role there, almost like I always called it the AC Green role. He'd start the game and he'd do his job, and then that was his job every game in and game out. And then you find the Carusos, and you dealt with the KCP situations when you first signed him, and he turned out to be great. And then Kuzma, you drafted Kuzma, and Kuzma wasn't shooting the way we wanted him to shoot, but man, he got really good on defense. And then you had Rondo. You had the ultimate wild card who came through and really put the dagger in Miami in that last game. I mean, he really put the dagger. He was shooting threes, and all I could think about in that game was, man, imagine if Rondo was hitting those shots in Game 7 in 2010. The Lakers would have one less championship right now. So, yeah. So there was a plan then, and they executed it. And then within 1 year later, they didn't make it in the end there, and then they panicked. And that's why you cannot have. What did Shaq say about Phil Jackson when they were down 15? And I know he exaggerates, but in that instance, he was right. Like, a real general doesn't panic. A real leader doesn't panic. Well, LeBron panicked. That's why he's never really been a good leader. He's a great individual. He's not a great leader. And obviously, Rob Pelinka and Jeannie couldn't lead a line of ants if they were the queen ant. So I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna watch here in the next day or so. Monday's gonna be hot, I think. Tomorrow's gonna be hot. Beginning of the week. Monday's usually busy. Let's see if these guys can surprise us. But I'm not gonna hold my breath.
Yeah, no. I just want to say, Joe, when you said that the AC Green role was for JaVale McGee, for a second I thought you meant not having sex, but I realized now I was wrong.
Good one, Jay.
I get him in where I can. And I was going to do it right away when he said it, and I was like, he's on a roll. I'm not going to interrupt him. So I just waited till after. So it doesn't have quite the impact I think it could have had, but, it's all good. Gerald, you're muted. We can't hear you. I don't know who you're talking to, Gerald. Nobody can hear you, Gerald. Gerald, you're talking to nobody.
Gerald, I think you need a new mic.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, Gerald. Nobody can hear you. Maybe that's...
There we go.
There we go.
Something's going on there. But yes, once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching, listening. Truly appreciate it. I never said it was a negative. Sean, you're putting words into our mouths, which is not actually a very smart move on your part, Sean. For someone who is such a LeBron sexual, because you're such a LeBron fan, if I put my words in your mouth there, as far as that's concerned, you come back at me and say, hey, why do I say that's a negative? How does LeBron taking less so that the Lakers can get another player? That's a negative. I never said it was. You're putting words into my mouth. So,
and again, nor has he done that yet. So let's not put the cart before the horse.
We said for months and we said for weeks that he would take the full max because he had full control of the situation. Now, if that's the case,
Mike has been going all day. That's why it's cooked. It's been going hot. He's been hot on the mic all day. That's why it's failing on him right now. Exactly.
So if that's the case, and he does take less, credit to him on that. But again, who is it for? Is it for Klay Thompson, 34-year-old Klay Thompson, coming off of two major injuries, coming off an 0-for-10 game? Jamie asking for the team to get younger, and instead he makes the sacrifice for Klay Thompson. Who does he make the sacrifice for is the question.
I would only be marginally happy, if it was DeMar DeRozan. That's it.
But he is a mid-30s guy.
I know, but you can't trade, right? It's not you can only sign an unrestricted free agent, right? I guess technically a restricted free agent. So if you can only sign an unrestricted free agent, that pool has shrunk now. You're not getting Paul George. Paul George he's not going to turn down the Clippers to come here for $12 million. That's the most we can free up. We're not freeing up.
He is running the team. He is running the team,
Yes,
Sean.
no, he is.
I've
He
said
is
that. I proved myself right. I told you from the very beginning of all this happening that he was in full control. So, Sean,
And I don't see how
I
truthful
have been the
observations are
one in the
negative.
right.
I don't understand how you can quantify truthful observations as negative.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. We've been
I mean,
saying this all
feel
along.
feel free to do so. But I mean, it doesn't.
So
really
he's
matter.
going to take a little bit less, in case 20 million less,
He might.
supposedly.
He has
He
not.
might. He might not. We'll see. We'll see how this all works out because nothing's yet been confirmed. But Jamie, before we head it out, we want to go ahead and make sure. What are you guys working on at Lakerholics.com?
Oh, Tom and I are arguing about how many centers should be on the team. He thinks 42, and I just think 3.
Well, they got to be are they of any quality? Because
They're all of his are stretch fives. Every
James
single one.
Wiseman. These are not
single
names that are going to move the needle that far in the positive direction because they haven't done it before with any of the other teams that they've been with.
Real quick, I just want to address Sean. And I don't want to pile on you. I'm not trying to argue with somebody in the chat. It's not worth really the time. But I just want to clear something. So let's just say, for example, that LeBron does take $20 million less, which is the amount that he would have to sacrifice for the Lakers to have access to the full taxpayer MLE. Well, actually, no, that kicks them into the non-taxpayer MLE range, which then allows them to spend that $11.5 million. That's it. There's no money above that.
Unless they do a sign and trade too.
No, then that doesn't matter. Then you have to. Then it's for D'Lo, or you're shipping out Rui and get Reeves or Vincent or Vando, and so now
I don't need anyone's help, Sean. You're incorrect again. Sadly, you are incorrect.
Yeah, Gerald's been doing this all day by himself. He's still chilling.
I don't see you on here, Sean.
I think
I've been giving you the invitation to come on this show, and you've declined, which means you are the one that's incorrect.
Anyway,
Sadly,
none of this matters. Let's not argue with people in the chat.
Oh, I love to do it. I love to do it because, again, I've been here. I bring you guys 4 hours of entertainment, and in return,
I agree.
All I get is this from occasion. You guys, I get Pale Fox telling you can go now, Jamie. I get Sean Harder giving misinformation time and time again. It's like, okay, you guys want to pile on us, but you keep watching us. So what is it? Who is the dumber one? Looks like, again, you provide entertainment where 99% of you enjoy what we do, and we appreciate it. But there's that 1% that wants to go ahead and get whatever facts or incorrectness that they come out with. They want to keep on piling on with it. They want to go ahead and keep supporting it. If they were a LeBron fan, absolutely enjoy it. I think LeBron is one of the greatest players on the planet and one of the greatest players of all time. But there's only so much you can do because he's hitting the big 4-0. There's only so much you're going to get out of him because he's hitting the big 4-0. If you guys don't understand that concept, that this team may not in its current state get better, and you don't like hearing that, I'm sorry, but we tell the truth. We're not going to tell you. We're not going to go to Lakers Nation where they just feed you this optimism, whether it's true or not. We're not here like Silver Screen and Roll where they just throw roses at you. You guys talk about Anthony Irwin and all that stuff as far as how bad he is and whatnot, but you guys go back to him time and time again. Why is that the case? Why is that the case?
I'm not
so
sorry.
Before you hate on us all the time like you do, before you call out Joe like you guys do, either the man, there's Joe with Joe, there's a man crush or there's a man hate for Joe. With Jamie Sweet, it's like he's crazy for this, he's crazy for that. And for me, I just, it's like, I don't agree with you, Gerald, even though you are more right than anyone else on the show. And as I've proven myself to be over the course of the 5 years I've been doing it, when I called out the Westbrook trade, I had haters right and left. Gee, who called that one on the first day? Me. Okay. So when I predicted that the Lakers would win the title in 2020, who called out? Me on this show right here. So don't tell me I'm not right about things. Don't tell me I'm incorrect. I'm tired of it. I've been here 4 hours to provide you guys the best that I can, to do what I can to get you update on the NBA. And I enjoy it for the most part, but there's individuals out there, and you know who you are. You know who you are, that go ahead and want to go ahead and pick fights. I will fight with you. Joe will fight with you all day long. I will fight with you as well. And Jamie Sweet will laugh at you until the cows come home.
That's
It's
exactly
just
right.
that simple.
That's the power of humor, baby.
Exactly.
Anyway, that's basically what Gerald just did. Is basically what Tom and I do on the blog. So come on by.
Yeah. Although it's more fun when you and Tom do it, because I love it when you guys go on together and he calls you, you names and then gets mad at you and all that good stuff. So yeah, it's
I
much
mean,
more
whatever.
entertaining.
Listen. That you know what though? That just tells me that people are passionate about the Lakers.
It's right there on YouTube. It's right there on podcasts. Go ahead and look at the archive, Sean. It's right there.
Anyway, I got to go to work. I'm taking off.
All right, Joe. Any last thoughts before we head on out?
Geez.
We'll be back tomorrow for more pain and more fun. It's the
Yeah,
day 2 of NBA free agency.
I have a few things that we can put a button on this, since this particular era of sportscasting has turned into sycophants reporting on their deep throats. The people that they deep throat. Yeah, I'm using that word, deep throat. Guys like
Why not?
Colin Cowherds and the sewer rats like Nick Wright. And then you have the local channels that have specifically hired anchors that won't criticize or won't always in the positive with whomever the star player is. I think we need to get back to more of a Roger Ebert-like critic. Roger Ebert used to hang out with the directors, the actors, and he would criticize those people he hung out with and still ate lunch and dinner with them. Now, I want to throw in a little bit of a difference. I don't want to eat dinner with Nick Wright, Colin Cowherd, LeBron James, Rich Paul. As a matter of fact, if they're in the same restaurant, I'm leaving. I don't want to know them. If they give me a reason to be positive about them, I'll be just as vicious with my positiveness as I would with my negative. And that's something, unfortunately, we will not know probably ever again, at least with this particular team.
Let's hope
We're
that
gonna
changes.
Yeah, it's going to be hard until the Lakers start playing and running the organization the correct way. I don't know if we're ever going to hear anything positive again, because they're not giving us a reason to be positive. This isn't they're trying to run the correct way and, well, it's not working out because they played someone better or it just didn't go their way. I'm not going to get suckered into every time some team loses, it's so-and-so's fault and it's this other guy's fault, when I'm sitting there going, well, you have 5 people and they're all blaming someone else. Well, the reason why they're blaming someone else is because there's a favoritism that they have towards the other person. No, I'm not favoring anyone. Have you guys noticed I don't criticize Anthony Davis? When have you heard me criticize Anthony Davis?
No, you've been very complimentary of
Right.
Anthony
And
Davis.
why is that? He's part of this crew, isn't he? Because he's not doing the stuff that I'm telling you guys. He's not calling Klay Thompson and trying to figure out how to make things work. When I read that today, I just kept scratching my head going, what in the hell is going on here? Every time I think positive in my head, something like that comes up right away. It's almost like God's following me with it, going, no. Here, Joe. See, this is why you're thinking this way. Stop being in denial. And by the way, folks, there isn't a single NBA player in the league right now that's going to change this team's fortune as an MLE player. So LeBron James has really no reason to take a pay cut. Absolutely no reason, especially at $22 million. There's no way, if he's smart, and I'm sure he's smart when it comes to the contract stuff, there's no way he's going to take a $22 million hit for Klay Thompson. If he does,
It's his money.
I mean, now who's delusional? You know, the Lakers had a chance to go get a center. They needed a center. They didn't need a Klay Thompson. And who got him? The Washington Wizards.
What if Hartenstein is still available?
I don't think they're going to be able to get him.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't think so either. I think he's going to be priced out of it. But
I think he's going to get, if KCP got 22 mil, someone like Hartenstein, who's, again,
coming off that New York performance in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think Hartenstein's going to get more than 11 mil, and there's really nothing to really think about there. That's just not going to be something that happens. But the Lakers they're going to need a Hail Mary, and it's going to probably involve a trade, using D'Lo in a trade, you know, some of the dead weight that they have on the team. I'm going to repeat again from when we talked at the beginning of this. The Lakers have 7 players on this roster that are going to be on the roster that are not rotational players. That's half their team. That is horrible.
And you saw what happened last year when we had that.
And they just signed one of those guys to 8 per, and they can't trade him until January 15th of 2025. And one of those other guys is Bronny James, who will never succeed in the NBA. Anyone who says he's going to succeed is full of shit. Not because I hate the kid, not because I don't want him to be successful. He just won't work out.
And on that note, it is the Lakers fast break. Brook Lopez, if he would have had to come here, you'd have to figure out the $23 million to cover for that. So that would probably mean probably a package deal, Rui and JHS or something like that. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in the coming days. But whatever your choices are, we'd love to hear them, whether they're for us or against us. Seemingly very combative tonight. A lot of people to go ahead and go at us for some reason. I guess because the fact they just don't like the reality of how we space.
Gerald, you know this, okay? This thing is going to be a hotbed. It is going to be a hotbed, and when that number right now we're at 122. When that thing starts to get to 222 and 322, you better get your balls ready, because
my balls have always been ready.
They're going to start coming after you, and they're going to start coming after your balls.
And I'm still here with a smile on my face, Joe. My balls intact.
Get ready, it's coming, and you better have that chastity belt that what's her name had in Men in Tights.
I don't remember, but yeah.
Oh, Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Remember that, Jamie? Come on.
I don't remember her name. I remember I just don't remember the actor.
Okay.
He had a lock on it. I'm a huge Mel Brooks fan, so
Robin. You know they're doing another Spaceballs, Joe, right? You heard they greenlighted. They did.
Yes, I just hope that it's a Mel Brooks movie, not a Disney.
No, it
movie.
is. Mel Brooks is helping to write it. He is helping to write it. If you take a look at it, I saw it on Variety about last week that Mel Brooks is coming.
I don't know how you redo Spaceballs. I really don't.
No. I think it's a sequel. I think it's a sequel or prequel. I don't know. With Mel Brooks, who knows? But,
how do you do another Spaceballs without John Candy?
Boo, 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 boo.
That's for Mel Brooks to
decide.
By
the way, John Candy has been away from us for 30 years, and we still love him. We still miss him. What an absolute, when we talk about greatness, we would talk about icons. Imagine a man who's been gone for 30 years, people that weren't even born when he passed away, love his movies, swear by him. Just unfortunate that we lost him, because you see Eugene Levy, you see all the Second City crew guys that are still just rocking and rolling. I can only imagine how the world would have been a better place if John was still alive. And man, I hope they do him right in this sequel at the just a little bit of it.
We'll see what happens. But once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. Joe Soro and Jamie Sweet, Gerald Glassford here. We'll be back for more fun and I guess more target practice for us. Both ways, I guess, right here later on today as we recap day 2. Plus, if there's any breaking news concerning the Lakers, we'll try to come on with that as well. So truly appreciate you joining us. Huge crowd tonight. I guess a lot of people are excited for what the Lakers are doing or not doing in free agency, but we always want to hear your thoughts one way or the other without insults to us, please. Just let's keep it to the Lakers and that's it. If you don't agree with us, that's fine, but just be respectful. That's all we ask. And when you guys aren't respectful, that's when you get us on you. And we'd like to keep it a nice two-way street. And we'll go ahead and leave it on that note. But once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Jamie Sweet and Joe Soro. We'll be back later on today with more news from the lines of free agency. What will happen in free agency day 2? Will LeBron sign? Will he take the pay cut? Will Klay be part of the Lakers? All the NBA drama. Will it go ahead and pan itself out on Monday? We'll find out. We'll report on it right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast.